Hey everyone, this is Holly and Kaci, and we're here tonight to talk about what to do when you're not feeling well. And we're going to give you an arsenal of wellness tips that are not just preventative. I mean, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Tonight, we're talking about the pound of cure. We talked about prevention last week. So we're going to give a lot of examples of things you can do to empower you to take charge of your health. But please don't think you have to do it all because
it could be a little over.
Right. But if you once you're not feeling well, it's like you'll do anything, right? So this is a good opportunity. The best defense against colds and flu is a strong immune system. And it's like a healthy plant will naturally repel insects, and they come to kind of recycle. So when we're feeling poorly, then things are coming to recycle us. So we can build our immune system, and that will actually be the key to getting well. So there's lifestyle factors that will depress your immune system, like sugar and so forth. And so those things are extremely important to eliminate from your diet. So there's three things I want to say. The one is once you're going down, you want to do frequency rather than quantity. So for example, instead of doing 10 drops of thieves in the morning, you want to do maybe 10 drops all throughout the day, or do these things throughout the day, and then rotate your oils and rotate your protocols. Do something like every hour at least to be intentional with your health. And the other thing is, once you're back on the track and you're feeling normal, keep it up.
For 2 days.
Yeah, a couple days. So it's kind of exciting because like after Thanksgiving, I was eating sugar and I don't usually do that. And I started to feel poorly. And so I was teaching on this and I thought, well, let me just start implementing what I do. And I did, and I was perfectly fine the next day. And then I started, once my symptoms are gone, isn't this human nature? You just kind of go back to, you forget, and you just go back to and doing what you want to do. And I just learned you want to keep it up. So that's what I'm doing today. So the first thing we're going to talk about is nutrition. And the most important thing when you're not feeling well is to drink water. And the reason why is hydration is what makes our cells work. And when we get dehydrated, it's like the beginning of all kinds of problems. And germs and disease dislove a dehydrated condition, a stagnant condition. And so we're going to talk about being an aromatic warrior and using some common sense issues as well to make sure we stay hydrated and that we have a circulation in our bodies. So the way I like to drink the water, I've shared with this before, is I love to take sea salt and just put a little bit under your tongue. Have you tried that?
Not yet. You told me about it.
Okay. Do you remember why?
Because the sea salt will help your body to actually absorb the water.
Absolutely. So I keep this, like I have one next to my computer and one in the kitchen and one in my bathroom, so that when I'm drinking water, I can just grab one. And it keeps your body just from peeing it all out. So it's a great way to stay hydrated. And I have this theory that the reason why everyone gets well when they go to the hospital, not everyone, but I think it's because people get put on IV, and that just immediately hydrates them. So why not just hydrate yourself in the first place? So that's the first point, is hydration, and then avoiding the sugars and avoiding the processed foods, which are just filling your stomach and not necessarily feeding yourselves. Avoiding gluten and dairy, especially when you're down and under. And then another really important thing to do is to alkalize your body, because germs love an acidic condition. So this is something in living cells that I love. It's called alkaline. Okay, I gotta project. Sorry. All right, so I used to just take baking soda and water, and you can do that, but it tastes disgusting. But this is super delicious. Last time I did this, I made a mess. So let me see if I can do this without making a disaster here. By the way, I'm in Jason's art studio, which is pretty cool. Look at it going up. Oh my gosh. Hey, last time it went everywhere. So actually, if I was actually going to drink this, I would give more water to it. You let it sit for 20 seconds until all the fizz has gone down and drink it. And it tastes like, I'll let you drink this. Okay, it's really good. It tastes like it's lemony and it's limey and with essential oils. Excuse me, and it has the alkaline from probably baking soda's in there too. So where's my spoon? So we'll stir this. And this is a great way to keep your pH balanced, which is a really key thing to do when you're not feeling well. It's probably going to be pretty strong. See what you think. Just drink it down.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's got a bright flavor to it, kind of happy taste. Okay, so that's one way you can alkalize your body, and it's called Alkaline with Young Living, and I really enjoy that. I think it was a freebie one month, and that's how I figured out how much I loved it. Okay, then the next thing I want to talk about is probiotics, and so we discussed in the past how our microbiome is so important for, we have good bacteria, we have bad bacteria, we need to have a balance. So probiotics, especially when you're sick, is a good thing to use. And so Young Living has something called Life 9, which is in my refrigerator upstairs, so I can't show it to you, but it's got a great strain of the best bacteria. So I recommend that. Or, like I'm an herbalist, so I always ferment things, and I love fermented food. I love kefirs. You can do that as well, but just be proactive, making sure that you're getting in the good flora. What I love about essential oils is that they're so intelligent and they know how to attack the bad bacteria and how to support the good, which is amazing because antibiotics don't do that. Tincture red is something I recommend if you're not feeling well. Bone broth, and then thieves tea, which is something Kaci's going to show us how to make. And thieves is right here, and the honey is right there, and the lemon is right here, and there's your water.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us about these?
So first, a little story that I just learned about. Why is this called thieves? I always wondered, and it's actually really fascinating. So back in the 14th century, that's when Europe was taken over by the Black Plague. 1/3 of Europe was killed by the Black Plague, which you've probably heard about somewhere along the line. But what happened was there were these thieves, these humans that would go around to the people who had died, and they would rob them of whatever they had on their person. But how did they do this without getting sick? Is they would put on these masks that would cover, so they wouldn't be breathing in. They would put on these masks, and inside the masks there was leather that they would soak in these oils. And the oils, when they breathed in the air from the holes, the oils would protect them from actually getting sick. So they were able to make the most of the Black Plague. But so it's kind of an interesting story, but what thieves does is it provides this layer for us as well from getting sick from some things that are not nearly as dangerous as the Black Plague. So thieves, the thieves tea, what we'll do is we'll take a really cute mug, and then we go straight in here, correct? So just 1 drop of thieves.
And 2 drops of lemon. And then honey to taste. And then I've got water here.
Okay.
You can try it here. I don't have a whole lot in here.
That'll probably be perfect.
Okay.
And then we put some water in here.
So what about the temperature?
You don't want it to be boiling.
Right.
Because if it's boiling, then it'll break down the constituents in the oils. So what I would do is let it boil and then let it sit for a little while and then go ahead and pour it in. I'm going to pour it there and then stir it up. And then what the honey does, it's to taste, but it also helps to get the oil to not just settle on the top. So when you drink it, you're not just getting one big gulp of oil, but it's going to be mixed in with the whole tea.
Yeah, it emulsifies it.
Emulsifies it. See, I'm learning so many words.
So try it and see what you think.
Okay. That's pretty good. Yeah, I love these. I'm a big fan.
It's a great, can you feel the circulation like as it's going down?
Yeah.
It's making the germs miserable, which is our point. We want to be aromatic warriors. So we're being intentional and we're hitting it hard. So I don't know, I would drink that maybe 2 times, 3 times a day. Remember I said rotate things, so try this one time and it will give you a lot of other arsenal as well. So the next thing we want to talk about is supplements. And so Young Living does an amazing job with their supplements, and I use all of their supplements now. I don't buy them from anywhere else. I just replace my buy with them because they do such an excellent job with everything. And so this is Super C. I recommend that. I really like the chewable ones, but I ran out of those. I'm ordering more in my next order. So another thing you can get is Inner Defense, which is absolutely amazing, and they're filled with some of these antimicrobial, which is all the antis oils already done up for you. And Casey's going to show you how to make your own gel cap, which you can do that, and that's absolutely fine. It just takes a little more time. And but if you can get these in October, these were free. They were given out as a promo if you spend a certain amount of money. So Casey's going to show you how to make. Oh, you got one there?
I got one right
Okay.
here.
So these are gel caps.
It's really small, but it's the gel cap and it's empty.
I like this one. Okay. Is that your thieves?
Yep. So we'll take the thieves again and we'll put 3 drops inside of the gel cap.
You can do 3 to 5. Like if it's a child, I would do a lot, maybe 2.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'll do 4 because she said 3 to 5.
Okay, and I'm making a mess. So is that in there? I can't see.
Yeah.
Sorry. Is it in?
It's in, yeah.
Oh, my glasses. I'm sorry. So why are we putting the oil in there?
Well, the oil it's a carrier, but what that does is once it gets down into the gut, it helps protect the stomach lining because the thieves can be a little bit strong.
Right. It has clove and cinnamon and rosemary, eucalyptus, and what was the other one? Lemon. Good. Okay. So how can we do a bunch of those at once, and where would you store them?
Yeah, you can do a whole bunch of these and then freeze them and then take them out as you need.
And if you don't freeze them, the lemon can dissolve through the gel cap.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I'll just take this myself. All right. So, hold on. So still talking about thieves. These are thieves lozenges. And have you tried one of these yet?
Not yet. I'll try
They're really good. You can try it. But I love keeping them in my purse. And if you're around somebody who's sneezing or blowing their germs all over anybody, you can just bless them by handing them one, and then that'll help them, and you can also stick one in your mouth to keep your immune system strengthened.
I do want to pause for a second and just remind them that you don't have to do all of this. But as you're talking, I just keep thinking of when I am not feeling well and I'm really down for the count, and I go to the drugstore and I get a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of this can just replace all the stuff that I would buy at the drugstore.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And these aren't toxic.
Yeah.
So your body knows what to do with this stuff, which is important. It doesn't just get stored in your food.
So it's not just a bunch of new stuff and not to be overwhelmed. It might just replace things that you're already buying.
That's a good point. All right, so she's going to try that out, and then I wanted to get into lifestyle. So sleep is extremely important, especially the hours between 10 and 2. Did you hear that? Because I know you like to be a night owl. But your immune system really rebuilds during those hours. So going to bed early and then making sure you can get up after 2, but just don't stay up between 10 and 2, especially if you're not well. Another thing you can do is you can diffuse next to your bed, and so I like to have that right next to my head when I'm not feeling well. My mom, I've shared this story many times, but it's just so powerful. She was immobile in a hospital bed in her living room, and so living like that, she was vulnerable to getting quite ill. And so we kept the diffuser going with beads in it 24/7, and she never got a respiratory, it kept her respiratory system strong, which was amazing. Okay, and so another thing you can do is put pillows behind your back, or you can buy those wedge pillows. I have 2 of those I've used for Mom. But that's a good thing to do, just to keep all of the fluids kind of draining in a good way instead of stuck up in your head or going down into your chest. So I love that. And then vitamin D and going outside, exercise. Casey's going to talk a little bit about energy and keeping that moving. It's all about circulation and getting things moving, getting things out. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, what happens with when we are not feeling well is that our lymph is working really hard to protect us. And we also might feel a little bit sluggish. So we may not feel like getting up to move, but the lymph really needs that. So there's a few different ways that we can do that. One of my favorite ways is dry brushing. So you get, I don't know if we have one, but those shower brushes with like the horsehair on them, and you can take them when your skin is dry and just brush it all the way up towards your heart, going over your whole body, and that helps to get the lymph moving. Also, thymus tapping.
Yeah.
Thymus tapping. So can you talk a little bit?
It's the third. Is it the third rib down? Third rib down is right behind there's your thymus. It's the kind of the general of the T cells, and it really can tell the white blood cells get out there and get to work. So what would you do?
Take a little thieves. Take a little thieves and tap it right there on the thymus. The whole body's going to absorb it, but I think it's a nice little ritual too. And actually, what I've noticed is sometimes when I'm not feeling very well, I just intuitively do this. So it's amazing how the body knows what to do, and the mind may not always know.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that's a wonderful, simple way. Another thing is a rebounder. You know, like if you have those little, a lot of you guys have those big trampolines for your children. Well, get on there yourself, depending on how well you're feeling. Okay, so let's talk about oils. So the oils in your starter kit that are antimicrobial and that are super kick butt oils in your kit, you already have them, are raven and frankincense and lavender and thieves and lemon. So you've already got them, and so use them. And then the oils outside of the kit that I really recommend for this kind of thing, respiratory, you know, any of this downtime stuff would be, see, I'll look at them. I really recommend copaiba, which is really high in, is it CBC? What is that? Medical marijuana.
CBD?
CBD, yeah, it's higher, it's 40% higher than that.
Wow.
Yeah, and it tastes really good in a tea as well. All right, so that's a good one. Another one, eucalyptus is amazing, and we'll talk about that quite a bit in a minute because I've got some great ideas for it. And then lavender, you know, there's 1,000 uses for lavender, which is in the kit. Purification, which used to be in the kit, it's not anymore. And we'll talk about how you use this in a minute, but you need to get that even if you don't have it. And then frankincense, which we already talked about. Pine, any of the spruce or conifer trees have amazing properties to it. Thyme, kick-ass. Clove, the highest on the ORAC scale, it actually is at 1,000,000, which is incredible. And we're not going to talk about ORAC right now, but one night we'll do an entire talk on frequencies. And then this one is oregano, which smells like pizza, and is very strong oil. So, and then lemon. So those are the oils that I would recommend, although there's quite a few other ones that you could get as well. Then we're going to talk about the 3 ways that you can get oils into your body, which are
aromatically, topically, and internally.
And we already talked about the internal. She showed you how to make the pill. The diffuser, this is the Aria diffuser, is important because
it's an aromatic way, and it can change the whole room.
Yeah, like sometimes in a sometimes in a sick room or whatever, there's a staleness, you know, and so this definitely will get that dispersed. What are some other uses for the diffuser? Why is it helpful? Remember?
No.
You can't
just
read my
remember.
writing.
Oh yeah, it stimulates production of white blood cells, which is what our body uses to help fight off
Well, the oils do, but by putting the oils into the diffuser.
But the white blood cells, that's what they do.
Right.
Yeah. And then it freshens the stale room, which I already mentioned. It helps us to clear our lungs, and it supports respiratory health.
Absolutely, and it adds humidity to a room, and sometimes that's necessary or really needed. I remember just heating pots of water and putting it in the room when the kids weren't well. But this is easier, and it smells amazing, and it has so many wonderful things that you can do. What are some other ways that you can aromatically? Which one do you want to use? Let's use pine. Let's talk about that one.
So the least expensive way to do it is just to hold the bottle close to your nose and cup it, put a little shield with your hand and just inhale, nice, slow, and deep. That's the least expensive way. Another way to do it, also not expensive, but just put one little drop into your hand, or 2, and then you can share with a friend, and then do 3 clockwise circles in your hand. And make sure that you don't bring it into your eye, and we'll talk about why in just a second, but you cup it and then inhale right into your hands.
I feel like I'm in a forest.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And so what happens if you get it into your eye? You just take some of one of the carrier oils like olive oil or coconut oil and put it in your eye so it helps to remove it.
Right, because if you do water, the water will actually drive it in and make you feel even worse. So you don't want to get essential oils in your eye.
You don't want to, but if you do, use a
It's
carrier
not a
oil.
big deal. It'll
Yeah.
take it right out.
Yeah, but that's a really fun one as well.
It is. Okay, so that's, and this boosts resilience too, which is awesome. Another thing you can do is, and especially if you've got little kids, just line them up in the bed and then just put oils on the bottom of their feet. And I do this every night, preventively, and then also when I'm starting to go down. Because the oil, did you know this? The pores on your bottom of your feet are the largest pores in your whole body, and the fastest way to get the oils into your body is by putting them on your feet. And there's charts, VitaFlex charts, that will show you what part of the foot relates to which organ in the body, and I just put it all over the bottom of the foot, and then you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to spread it in and get it in where you want it, just to add a little bit of olive oil so that it can really smooth it and work it in. Another thing is to put it topically directly on where you're hurting. And so like if you've got congestion here or whatever, you want to take, you can make a little, this is made with eucalyptus. Yeah. So I took coconut oil, which is a solid, and I put it in just a hot water pan, and I just melted it. And then I added, 10, 15 drops of eucalyptus and stirred it with a skewer. And then you want to keep this on, but you can put it directly on, kind of like a Vicks Vapor Rub. It's not made out of petroleum. So that's another thing you can do. And by the way, I've written a blog about all this stuff, so you don't have to take notes or worry about whether you're missing out, because you completely have it all there. And remember, these are just a smorgasbord or just your arsenal of weapons. So the neti pot, it makes a mess, but I love this. And your nasal passageways are the first line of defense, you've got the hairs in your nose to protect from things going in there that shouldn't be. But once things get in there and you've got issues, then one of the good things to do is to fill this with cold water.
Distilled. Only if it's distilled.
Why distilled?
Well, I think it's just because it's clean. Because when you heat up the water, you help to kill anything in it. But if you're going to use cold water, you want to use distilled water.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then what do you do?
And then I'll put baking soda and sea salt in it and let it sit for a few minutes so it dissolves.
Okay.
And what I've noticed, I used to do the warm water, but when I started doing the cold water, I noticed that it sort of just feels really, like it'll clear out and then it'll feel really stuffy when I'm done. And then a few minutes later, it's like everything thaws out and it just empties.
Well, I can't wait to
It was
try that.
recommended, and I really like it. Yeah.
I do it in the shower because I make a mess.
I've done it in the shower and over the sink.
Over the sink.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I like it in the shower. You just pour it through one nostril, goes all the way through your sinus cavities and whoop, out the other end. So what she has not done is she's never tried it with an essential oil.
Mm-hmm.
If you do put essential oil on here, these are really sensitive cavities. You want to make one drop, no more than that, and make sure it's really diluted.
Is there any essential oils that you'd recommend?
Any of the ones that we talked about.
Okay.
Would be fine. Thieves. By the way, everything today is 20% off Thieves, so that's pretty cool. But this isn't, that's time sensitive. This will be on my blog forever, so forget what I just said. All right, so then the neti pot, then head dropping. So right here at the top of your head, you want to take, we could do Thieves, or we could do, let's just do some frankincense. So you want to put it right here at the top of your head. I don't know why it's coming out. Maybe this one's empty.
It's used a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see. Is there anything in there? Well,
Yeah,
it's so dark in here. All right. So I got it. You did. You can
Okay.
get it. So head dropping is another thing you can do. Remember I said rotate these things. So maybe I did last hour or 2 hours ago, I did the neti pot. Well, this time I'm going to head drop. You don't have to do head drop every hour. And then the next thing you do is, let's say your throat is scratchy. A wonderful thing to do is to take a spoon full of honey. And then you want to take 1 drop of lemon and you would not believe how this just helps with a scratchy throat. This one's empty.
Probably.
This one.
Yeah, but this one's full.
Just one. Okay. Great. So imagine you have a scratchy, irritated throat, and how good would that feel?
That would feel pretty amazing.
That would be amazing. All right, so that's another thing. The next one is called nose swiping, and Kaci and I were doing this earlier, so I'm not doing it right now because that smells like pizza. So I'm going to just use eucalyptus, and so put a drop there. She puts her wrists together, and then she goes up one side of the nose and then the other side of the nose, and it kind of creates a protective barrier. Now, you've already got the issue inside of you, but this will help just open up those sinuses.
And it smells good.
Yeah, it's incredible. Then the next thing is, like, say your ears are sensitive and throbbing or whatever, a great thing to do is use purification, or you can use lemon or thieves and put it right along the mastoid bone. And if it's sensitive or too hot, then you make sure just put a little bit of carrier oil over that as well. Just work it right in. You can just rub your whole ear. Never put an essential oil inside your ear. Just rub your lobes, and that has Vitaflex points in it, just like the feet and just like the hands. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. God has made our bodies to be self-healing if we will give them the things that they need. Give the body the things it needs. So I love that. Another thing is taking a detox bath, and Kaci took one today, and I recommend putting Epsom salts in the bath, and baking soda, and kefir water. I do a lot of weird things. I put milk in your thing. I did a lot of herbs as well because I have them. And actually, I have an entire blog on all the herbs I used before I got into the plant medicine, sugar oils. And all those things are wonderful too. It's just they're a lot more work. And these are simpler. And they work.
You need less.
You need less, yeah. And like, for example, one drop of peppermint oil is the equivalent of 26 cups of peppermint tea as far as its healing constituents. So to me, it's kind of, I like them both. And I use my elderberry syrup, and I have a huge apothecary, and I love what I know, and I'm grateful for what I know, and I love the plants, but I'm really thankful for the plant medicine, which are their essential oils. They're called essential because they're essential to the life of the plant. Okay, and then two more things. And so a Kleenex box can turn itself into I'm not using oregano. Let's see, what do I want to use? What do you have there? Lavender? Let's do lavender. Okay, so you take the Kleenex box and you just open it up a little bit, and you just do a couple of drops all the way down. And then when you go to blow your nose, you're also having the therapeutic effect of the, why don't you take a whiff?
Yeah, it's right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So you can turn a Kleenex box into something special. So then another thing you can do is, I forgot to tell you this. This is the only thing I use my microwave for. I put this in for 1 minute and 11 seconds. This is just you can use a sock, but I make these cute little hearts and fill them with rice. And then you can put, the thieves or eucalyptus or whatever on wherever you've got problems, maybe the back of your lungs or the front. And then this will, after it's heated, it'll help drive it, and it just feels so healing. Or if your kidneys hurt, put them over that, your adrenals or whatever. So that's a great thing to do. And then the last thing before Kaci shows us how to make an immunity blend, which I'm giving away. And by the way, I had 8 of you comment at my last video, which I'm redoing because we didn't have good, you couldn't hear what I was saying. I had Jordan call me today and said, Mom, I saw your video, but I couldn't hear you. That's why Kaci and I are redoing this, because this is such an important talk, because we don't want to just be, at the mercy of these germs. The best defense against illness is a strong immune system. And so I'm all about prevention, but once you've lost that ability and you've eaten too much sugar or haven't slept in a while, or you're around people that are not well, then you can start going down. And once you do, then, get up there and fight and hit it hard and rotate it and keep up the frequency rather than the quantity, and keep it up a couple of days later. Okay, so this one's fun. I love this. Have you ever done a steam tent?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's awesome. Okay, so what you do is you get this boiling on the stove, just some water, and you want to put a couple of drops of, oh, I don't know, you could use thieves. And so you get the water boiling, but then you don't want to put it in boiling water because you don't want to kill the constituents like Kaci was explaining. So you put 1 drop or 2 drops of eucalyptus or any of these circulatory, cypress would be good. And then you have this on the table away from the stove, and put the towel over the top of your head, and then over the hot water, which makes a steam tent. And so try to stay under there for a minute. It gets really hot. And then come up for air, and then go back down. And that's a really powerful weapon to use against germs. It really is a great tool. So
I'm sure there's a lot of relief too.
Oh yeah, it is instant.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful. So I love this one as well. So then, Kaci, this is our giveaway today. So we're going to be adding all of the names of anyone who comments today to the ones who commented before, and I'll be mailing this off to you guys tomorrow. I will pick a winner, and I'll announce it on this post. So what are you doing?
We're going to make an immunity roller, and the way that you do it is we're just going to take an old bottle and remove the label.
What do you mean by old?
Not an
Empty.
empty bottle,
Yeah.
because it may not be old. You might have used it really quickly. I don't know. You're going to use an empty bottle and remove the label, and then there might be some sticky residue on it. So all you need to do is just take some lemon oil and wipe it on there. It'll help take the residue off. Then we're going to use thieves, Melrose, and lemon. And
Why don't you start with the thieves?
We'll do 15 drops of each of those, thieves, Melrose, and lemon.
Okay, so here, smell the Melrose.
That's nice.
Yeah, and you can smell it. It has eucalyptus in it. It's a blend. Young Living has many blends. So she's going to make this up and then explain. So after you put those drops in, so it's 15 drops of thieves. I've got this on my website. Don't worry about it. 15 drops of Melrose, 15 of lemon, 7 of frankincense, and 7 of oregano. Then she's going to add to that olive oil all the way up to the top, and then put the roller filament on. And these roller filaments you can get at Young Living, or they're on Amazon, but they're the same price at Young Living, and I think they work just better actually. So you don't get PV with this if you know what that means, but it is a great tool, and you get 10 of them I think for $10. So this, after she's done, she's going to put this on, and then you can roll this on your pulse points on the back of your neck, or over your chest, or on your mastoid bone, or on the bottom of your feet. It's just awesome. So one of you will get this. It's a powerful immunity blend. So I hope you comment and share with us, what else have you tried that we haven't covered? I know I've covered a lot, but what has worked for you? Another thing we didn't talk about is the Thieves Cleaner. And I know that that's crazy to talk about that when you're sick, but you know what? If I'm not feeling well, if I clean my house with the Thieves Cleaner, I'm actually inhaling all of these amazing oils, and it actually makes you feel healthier. So get rid of the toxins. You are the gatekeeper of your house, and you're the protector of your family. And so buy things that will be life-giving and life-promoting and help your body to do its thing, which is to heal itself. So take the toxins out of the way. Another thing you can do is even gargling with Thieves mouthwash is a powerful thing to do. Brushing your teeth with Thieves toothpaste is a great thing to do as well. So Thieves, I think you can get the idea that we love Thieves. Mm-hmm. It kills 99.96% of germs, and there's a lot of studies on what it does against mold. It's powerful. So invest in your health, and you're worth it. Your family is worth it. And these oils are, because they're so pure and they're made so perfectly with our seed to seal process, they're expensive. But I can teach you ways in which you can spread them, and you can make the most of it, and also get back free things by joining Essential Rewards. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you're blessed by this. And I enjoyed doing it with you.
Yeah, it was fun. I have to come back.
Yeah, Kaci lives in California. So thank you, honey.
Thank you.
All right, so who's going to get it? Who's going to win? Make sure you comment.
comment and possibly win this beautiful blend.
Okay. Oh, and send me your address. Minor detail. Is it still going? Okay. Thank you. That's top up on it.
You can, we're still going.
Okay, we're still going? Oh, never mind. Like, we needed one more thing. But do you feel empowered?
I feel empowered.
And
Yeah.
don't you feel like bring it on?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy more thieves.
And I give you a hard